Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another live watch along show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie, and I'm your host for today. I can see the match has just begun, but I'm just going to go through some of the comments, which is definitely worth mentioning. Big up to Oz and comeback as always. It's a nice tribute to Jota and Andrew Silva. Couldn't agree more. I was watching in the background as I was setting up, so yeah, really nice tribute from the Liverpool fans, as as expected. We're very sort of emotional in the last few weeks when we heard the tragic news, and I think it's the first time we've all come together at Anfield, to pay our respects and you know do things the right way in terms of tributing one of our own in terms of Diogo Jota. So yeah, really nice touch from the Liverpool fans in the crowd. And yes, the game has just begun. So what we'll do now, we will go through the lineups and see who's playing today. So we'll start with the home team, of course, being Liverpool. We've got Woodman in goal, of course, one of our new signings from this summer. And in terms of your back four, you've got Jones on the right hand side, you've got Simicas on the left, Robertson playing centre back. And I mentioned this yesterday on our transfer show that I see Robertson being utilised in that role, especially if we have injuries in the back line. So he's playing alongside Stevenson. And in your midfield three, you've got McAllister, Harvey Elliott, and Trey Nyon in the middle. And then you've got Ben Dock on the right hand side. And then you've got Rio and Gamora who's on the ball right now. He's driving the ball. He shoots. Oh, what a finish! What a great finish from the young star. See, as soon as he got the ball, I had to stop what I was doing because I feel like he was going on goal there. And what a strike from Rio. And it was a comeback saying, Rio, what a start. I even put up the scoreline on my screen right now. That's how quick that goal was scored. Fantastic movement there. I love the directness. He didn't really hesitate. He knew what he wanted to do. I felt like we lacked that with some of our senior attackers. They're too, caught in two minds and not sure what to do, or they try to give it to Salah as always. But this time, Rio driving the ball. And can I say the home kit looks beautiful, doesn't it? What a kit we have there. So I'm definitely gonna have to purchase mine very, very soon. Because yeah, it's a beautiful kit. And yeah, Rio scores the first goal in our Alias kit. So that will definitely be a fun fact for years to come, hopefully. So yeah, one of many. What a finish there from the young striker there, or should I say young winger, because that's the role he's playing today. Ozzie says Ozzy, no Van Dijk or Conor Bradley today due to injury. Okay, I did not know that. Fine. So Van Dijk is ill today. That's fine. That's fine. It's not too much of a huge deal. Slot has put Trey as centre back we need. So right now it looks like, yeah, it could be the case. I think we've got Trey. Yeah, I think you may be right, actually. It looks like Trey's in the centre back role there. But it'll be good for him as well to just get sort of an understanding of that role. Not saying that's going to be a role that he plays, but it's definitely, positive to know that it's an option, in the future. And I think he will predominantly play in the same ilk of what Gravenberg does in our team. And that's the kind of model that I have in mind for training. I think that's the role we expect him to play in the future as well. So, there's no harm, gaining valuable experience alongside someone like Robertson who will guide him throughout the game and can definitely use his passing range to our advantage from that deeper role. So let's see how he performs today. Like I said, two centre backs for sure, then 100%. Rio, of course, what a start for the young kid. Let's quickly speak about the opposition in terms of Atletico Bilbao. So in their team, they've got Padilla in goal. They've got Luque in the left-hand side. You've got Crosabel. You've got Paridas and Brados. And you've got Vescas and Rigo Mora in your double pivot. Then you've got Gomez in your number 10. You've got Berengua in the left-hand side. Serrano. And then you've got Gurutza, sorry, up top in your thing. So they've got definitely a makeshift bench there because not a lot of big hitters that I recognize. And in terms of the bench, we've got Pekci, our Hungarian goalkeeper that we signed this summer. Well, on the second, Ben Dock with the cross to Rio. Rio heads it down to Nunes. There you go. Goal number 2. This is light work, honestly. This kit looks absolutely beautiful, honestly. Now, because we're seeing them play in action as well. Wow, what a kit. The only thing I'm contemplating, if you haven't bought a kit, like feel free to let me know. Should I get a half sleeve or full sleeve? Because I know NS are known for their full sleeve shirts, and I think a lot of my Irish shirts were full sleeve back in the day. But those in my younger days, when I actually used to play football and used to wear my Liverpool shirts. So in the winter, it would help me out and to keep me warm. But nowadays, I'm just wearing it at home pretty much. So maybe the t-shirt is the way to look. I still like the fact that you've got a very thick white border for the white t-shirts as well, in terms of the half sleeve shirts, as well as the full sleeve shirts. So yeah, looking very beautiful the new home kit. And Darwin Nunes, nicely taken goal. Great sort of knockdown from Rio to find Nunes, and Nunes guided the ball into the bottom corner. No chance for the goalkeeper. 2-0 to the Reds. What a great exercise we've had so far. Pretty much blew them away in the opening 5 minutes of the game. Now, in terms of the bench, we've got Pekshi in goal, we've got Trent Doherty, who I'm very excited to see. He's a very highly regarded player in our academy. You've got Lewis Kumas, you've got Jalen Dans as well, you've got Michael Mark Paul Laffy. So we've got Willity Lucky Moriu as well, and we've got Thomas James Pilling as well. So three players I'm not too familiar with, but the rest I am aware of. In terms of Bilbao, you've got Simone, Vivian, Sanchez. So Sanchez is one that I'm looking forward to seeing today. Nico Williams, of course, we all know him. Looks like he's got a new number, number 10 there. You've got Garetta, you've got uh, Be- Bericic, I think you pronounce his name. You've got Jarugiza, and you've got Sanadi, you've got Linares, Navarro, Canales, Vencedor, Bairo, Izeta, Ares, and Areso. Madariago, and you got Louis John as well. So yeah, a lot of names I am not familiar with, other than one or two in terms of Inaki Williams, Nico Williams, and Sanchez. Those are the three that I'm looking forward to seeing today, and see how they perform against us. But in general, strong team from Liverpool. The bench not so strong, but I'm expecting the first team hitters to be playing in our second match today. Back-to-back matches today. And we will be doing a watch along for that second game as well. So please make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to be part of the show, and feel free to drop your comments, whether it's about the game or Liverpool related stuff or football in general. You feel free to do what you want. So yeah, we'll definitely have a nice chat in regards to the show. Uh, let's have a look at some of the comments there. So big up Dad. He said, big up Ozzy. Do you think it will be a stronger line? I believe so. I think we'll get a stronger team in that second match. So yeah, looking forward to that as well. Ozzy Kabak says it looks like Slot is trying to mold young Trey into a groundbreak profile, Ozzy. Exactly. You've pretty much read my mind because I didn't see the comments as I was speaking. But yeah, I think that is the mode. In terms of stature, quite similar. Technical ability, not too far, in terms of his style of play and range of passing. So I think that is the way to look at it. And I feel like, Trey Nyoni could be the understudy for groundwork for years to come. So yeah, if he really flourishes this season, we might need to address that number 6 role next summer. But I still feel like we need to add another body because there will be one or two departures, in my opinion, next summer. But yeah, great player to have in the squad. Other guys said Darwin is staying Aussie. I hope not. I really hope not. That's the thing. When he scores goals in preseason, fans were like, "Oh, we've got to keep him on board." Like he's scoring the goals right now. But let's not forget it's preseason, guys. So we got to take it with a bit of pinch of salt. Other guys said to Yo's dad, long time no see. Big up Daz and Oz, come out in the chat. Appreciate you guys as always. So yeah, so far so good right now. Let me bring the scoreboard up so we can see what the current scoreline is. And yeah, Liverpool did not waste any time today. 2-0 to the Reds right now. Got Ben Doak on the right. So Harvey with a good post there. Not enough for Robertson to get onto that one. So, oh, it looks like offside. So, free kick to Bilbao. But yeah, so far so good. Very, very aggressive start from Liverpool. Rio opening the scoreline. I love that direct play from Rio. I can see why fans are, on board to be like he needs to start games or he needs to be part of the first team forward. I get it. Maybe I just have a bit more of a slightly cautious approach where I feel like let him learn his trade in the under 23s, and then once he's, established himself, or once he's, improved on certain aspects of his game, which I think is more so end product where shooting doesn't seem to be in question, but more so when he's in the wider areas, trying to find the right pass at the right time. So those are things you learn whilst you play. So even if he's playing for the under 23s, I think that is the experience that he'll be able to gain um this season. So it should be, a great process for him to develop in his own speed. I don't think Liverpool are trying to rush him to be that guy right now. So I think only time will tell in terms of when Real will be in the mix. I think he'll come into the first team fold more so in the second half of next season. That's my prediction there. So let's see what we do with Rio. But we do know for sure we've got a special player on our hands there. Ozan come out with the comment says, if Darwin ends up staying and scores once every 2 or 3 games, will you change your mind, Ozzy? I will to support the guy. If he's a Liverpool player, then yeah. Look, I'll be honest with you. I might be one of very few content creators. I like to be proven wrong. So if my opinion, is one thing today, and the player proves and shows me that he's stepped it up a little bit, and he produces the numbers, I'll happy put my hands up and say, look, I was wrong, or I misjudged the player there. But I always give criticism based on what I see. So for me, I just don't feel like he's a potent finisher, and he hasn't been over the years. But look, if he's scoring, the way you say every 2 or 3 games, then it's not bad. But I think we'll speak about Darwin in probably. I might even do a transfer show later on today. I feel like there's going to be some sort of talking points, or it might be tomorrow. I'll confirm later on tonight. Because there's a lot of interest in him from Saudi. AC Milan seem to have really stepped up their interest in Darwin in it. So look, him scoring preseason helps us because it kind of validates the fee that we're asking for, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully, we can let Darwin continue to score the goals, and hopefully it increases his value for this summer window as well. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um, Daz, I will send you a FPL pin after. I was like, yeah, yeah, please do. I have to renew my league as well. So if you haven't joined it, I will probably upload it at some point this week. I'll have it presented on the screen. So if you guys want to join the league, yeah, feel free to do so. And it does, yeah, feel free to let me know your pin. I'll join your league as well. Redbird, speak up Redbird is high to Daz. And then Redbird said, missed the second goal. Who scored? It was Darwin Nunes. Darwin Nunes was the goal scorer. So yeah, Darwizi gets in. Yes, he was the goal scorer. So nice assist from Rio. So Rio's got 1 goal already. He scored the opening goal, set up the second. So 1 goal, 1 assist for Rio. He was the one that headed the ball down to Darwin Nunes in that 6 yard box. And he pretty much guided the ball with his left foot into the corner from short distance to make it 2-0. So yeah, great team move there from Liverpool. And yeah, healthy scoreline where you don't have to, be so urgent in terms of getting that goal. We can comfortably focus on possession now and try and play more of a ball game rather than thinking, oh, we need to be direct and get some goals. And we've got 2 goals in the bank. We can definitely just focus on our fitness level, focus on producing different patterns when it comes to our passing, be quick on the ball. This is the time to do that. So yeah, looking forward to the preseason games today. We don't get treated to back-to-back games here, so we're spoilt in that regards. Hooks 19, Hooks 19 says Rio on fire. Eh? Yes, he is. He started the game in flames. No messing around from him. Scored the opening goal in literally a minute and a half. So yeah, he is not messing around at all. And he's back at it again. Fortunately, pushed the player down. Free kick to the opposition. Ozzy come back says, so you're saying Darwin's market value just increased from 50 to 60 million due to this piece, Ozzy? I hope so. Because we can produce the receipts. But look, Darwin, he's on fire right now. Look how he's scoring the goals for us. So yeah, if I was Richard Hughes, that would be my sales pitch to add a few more M's to that final transfer fee. So yeah, you got to do what you can, right? Got to do what you can nowadays, and hopefully, Liverpool can use that to their advantage, and yeah, try and get as much finance as we can, regards to the sale of Darwin Núñez. So yeah, hopefully we can make that happen. Red Bus Rio is going to be a superstar. Yeah, he's on his path right there. So yeah, we got to be grounded. Not make sure he's not pushed into the limelight too soon, or we put too much pressure on the kid. But yeah, in terms of what he's producing, he's in the right direction. He has the potential to be a superstar. So yeah, hopefully, we'll see those days. Of course, seeing it in the Liverpool colours, of course, as well for years and years to come. Darwin is on the ball to Hellier. A heavy first touch there from Harvey. Comment here from Hooks 19 said Darwin gets more stick than Hoyland and Jackson. Um, I possibly. I think with Jackson, for example, I think he showed improvements in his game in comparison to his debut season. So, I mean, because he's shown a level improvement, the Chelsea fans are a bit more on board. Hoyland, I'll be honest with you, I think Hoyland gets a lot of stick from his own fan base. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've dismissed him. They want him sold ASAP. I know Liverpool fans, probably myself included. I want Nunes to be sold, not because he's awful. I just feel like it hasn't worked out, so it's time for him to move on. Oh, good interception there from Robertson. Another block from Robbo. Oh, looks like the Bilbao player hit the top of the crossbar there. That's Bilbao's first attack today. Good, decent strike there from the right back in Gorosabel there. But two blocks from Robbo. He's getting used to that centre back role. Looks like, doesn't it? Um, but I think in terms of Darwin Núñez, I don't think he gets as much stick as Hoyland. That would be my comparison. I think Darwin Núñez probably splits the fan base, where some people are loyal to the core. They are part of the Nunes army. They don't want to hear anything negative about him. But then we have fans like myself who are a bit more critical, based on game to game basis, rather than in general to say, oh, he's terrible. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't feel like he's up to the level that I want in a Liverpool shirt, especially as a number 9. I've got very high expectations for who our striker should be and who should lead the team going forward. So no, I think not as much as Hoyland, but I understand your point there. We just got a comment here from Daz. Said, if all were fit for Sunday, who would be your front three? This Ozzie in chat. So I'd probably go for Gakpo on the left, but Rio will be involved in the match. So I'm not going to dismiss him just because he's young. I think start with Gakpo and then bring Rio on towards the last half an hour, and then yeah, really go at them, if that makes sense. And then up top, you'd have to probably say Darwin Núñez. Don't think there's many strikers available in our team. Obviously, some players can be played in a makeshift role. Jones seems to be walking gingerly right now. Hopefully, he's okay. And on the right hand side, go for Salah. So Gakpo, Núñez, and Salah. That would be my front three against Crystal Palace this Sunday in the Community Shield. I was going to come ask this good question to Daz. So, come back. Feel free to let me know what your front three would be, as well as yourself, Daz. Let us know who you'd start. Red versus now. Darwin gets pure hate from some. Yeah, but I feel like he's just one of those players where he splits opinions. I think some fans appreciate the hard work and the graft that he produces on the pitch. Um, some get frustrated due to his inconsistency, and I'm probably one of them. And some fans probably just hate him, thinking he's complete rubbish, which I don't completely agree. I don't think he's complete rubbish. You like let's give some sort of example or some sort of context. Hold on, Rio, nice little nutmeg there, good step over, but slightly overplayed. But very very positive to see such encouraging signs from the young kid there. But in terms of, I was going to give you a comparison. So I'm sure you guys will remember Diego Forlan, another Uruguayan striker that came from South America and came to the Premier League. and he just wasn't able to adapt to the way of playing in terms of his current team, which was United at the time, and the league was just a bit too physical, too a bit, intense for him. And then he went over to Atletico and really made a name for himself. So some players just don't suit certain leagues in terms of the skill sets that they have. So I feel like Darwin Núñez is one of those players. I feel like if he went over to La Liga or Serie A, I think he'd cook. I think he scored a lot of goals. Even if he goes to Saudi Pro League, probably score about 50 goals. He has that capability. So yeah, I just feel like it's been 3 years now. Everyone giving a round of applause for the Jota in the 20th minute there. Lovely, lovely s- touch there from the Liverpool fans, and the players have stopped as well, which yeah means a lot. It really does, and I'm sure the family and friends of Dil Jota will appreciate this gesture here. It's been a tough few weeks for all of us, in terms of what's happened with Dil Jota and his brother Andre. But yeah, really, really nice there. Nice moment there. Don't have to play in the 20th minute. Okay, the game continues now. So yeah, he does get something, but I feel like that's just that's just part and parcel of football, isn't it? Fans will love or hate you. It's just how the game goes, unfortunately. Ozan come back says mine would be Mo Salah, Ekitike, Gakpo. Fair enough. Ekitike, I'll see how he performs. I'm not expecting. I don't want it to be where it's like, oh, he scores goals, then he goes into my team. I just want to see in terms of his fitness and the dynamics in the team. He's definitely an option off the bench, but maybe I'll go for Darwin Núñez just because I know what to expect from him. And if we need better options up top, then we can bring on Ekitike in the second half. But no, that's a fair shout. And then you said Maka, Verts, Grav, Kirkes, VVD, Ibu, Frimpong, Mamadashvili. Interesting lineup there. Hooks 90 says, reality says Nunes has had his chances at LFC. I agree. He's had his chances at the club. So I don't feel like it needs to be prolonged or we need to keep him on board just to keep him for the sake of it. I feel like it's time for him to look out for his own career and, flourish somewhere else. Because I do feel like he can. He's 25, 26, very young in his football career. So he's got plenty of years to make a name for himself. So he's not been a flop, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to label him as that. I think that's a bit accurate, to be honest with you. But he's just not been the player we expected, or he didn't live up to the potential that we had in mind. So it happens. It's football. You move on, and hopefully, he finds himself a club where he'll be playing regular football, and we get the finances in order to replace him as well. So it's all sort of cycle when it comes to transfers and making changes to personnel. That says Salah, Ekitike, Gakpo, I think Ozzy, or Salah, Nunes, and Verts. Interesting. Slightly different to mine, but yeah, I get it. And Ozan Kabak said, rest in peace, Diogo and Andre Silva. 100% rest in peace to Jota and Andre Silva. Bilbao on the ball. Oh, clearance there. Just have a look at the opportunity from Ben Doak. Good cross. Uh, Woodman. Decent pass there. Stevenson. Of course, the signing of Woodman helps us in terms of our homegrown quota as well. So I think that's one of the reasons why we end up signing him. And it is something that I profiled where I feel like if we needed someone to be the number three, it should be someone that fits that quota, but also just provides the experience in that position. We do have some young goalkeepers, so let them learn their trade in the sort of the under 23s, that kind of level. And then once they're ready, they can get promoted to the first team. So I think it's a good move from Liverpool to sign him. Hooks 19 says, I don't really feel sorry for footballers when they get sick after all day multimillionaires. I hate it to an extent, but they're still human beings after all. So um, I think as long as the criticism is justified in terms of critiquing their performances. That's fine, but I feel like there's a lot of football fans that take it a little bit overboard, especially when you're on social media. You see people taking personal jabs and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's part of the game. That's not how it should be. You got to show a bit more class. Um, when it comes to that sort of stuff. Because I always feel like, what if you bump into these footballers in real life? What would your energy be around them? So if you don't have that same energy when you're typing these tweets negatively, but when you see them in person, you're behaving like a bit of a groupie, then you're being contradicting, aren't you? So always remember, these are human beings. These are players that you know if they were to come across these kind of comments, they would feel it to some extent, will they? It doesn't matter how thick-skinned they are, they will still feel it to a level. So as long as the criticism is justified, I think it's all good. So that's why, for me, I've never taken personal jabs at players. I've always based it on performance. How they perform today. Because my opinion can change. If they perform better next week, then I'll speak highly of them. So this is how it works. But with an overall assessment of Nunes, I just feel like it just hasn't worked out. So best thing would be for both parties for the player to move on and continue and progress with his career elsewhere. So I think that should be how it's done now. Delulu, big up Delulu Steve. He says Ozzy is the Isak saga over. Not quite, I don't think, but I think we should get some clarity in the next coming days. I believe he arrived at training. I don't know if he trained with the squad or if he was training alone, but the writing seems to be on the wall. He's unsettled. He wants to move. Newcastle aren't particularly pleased about him. Eddie Howe made some comments that he's going to have to earn the stripes to train as well. So he's already in their bad books right now. So it looks like it's only a matter of time before that deal is concluded. So hopefully we'll get some update. But I feel like we should get a real update by the end of this week, where a deal's been agreed or something of that nature. So that's my prediction. So not completely over, no plot twist at the minute. I think they're working on finding his replacement, which is Sesko, and we're trying to make sure we get the deal all lined up in terms of finalizing any T's and C's and making sure we can sign him quicker than normal. So I believe that we've already spoken to his camp in terms of personal terms, so that's already verbally agreed. And in terms of the deals and stuff, it will just depend on Newcastle getting their business done instead of trying to acquire at least a striker. I think if they get Sesko, then after that they can buy whoever they want. We couldn't care less. You got Sesko. That's a direct Isak replacement. Let us confirm Isak as our new player. So yeah. So I think that's what's going to end up. We'll get some sort of update later on this week, in my opinion. AR says, "Hi Ozzy and chat. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? How are you? You never walk on. Build yourself, AR. Wa alaikum salam. I'm good. Thank you. I hope you're doing good today as well." And AI says we're all human and we all mess up, right? We learn from our mistakes, move forward, and racing. And then, hey, yeah, very, very nicely said there. That's why when it comes to football, I never go over, but I'm sure a lot of you, especially AI, you've been watching my show for some time now. I don't go crazy when it comes to uh, speaking about players, and it's never personal. I don't know these people personally. I'm speaking from a footballing point of view completely. So yeah, I feel like that's the way it should be. We can have our opinions, and that's what it is. End of the day, and you have to respect it, even within like the live chat as well. In terms of the FTP community, I would like to make sure everyone's respectful to each other, and that's how it should be. So yeah, I want it to be where everyone feels welcome, everyone feels like they can engage and you know s- speak and drop their comments and feel very welcome when doing that. So that is my aim of the channel, to make sure everyone is here to have their say, whether we all disagree or not. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. So yeah, that's the way I want it to go going forward. Delulu Steve says Robbo is a decent mainstream centre back. No, or am I just tripping? No, you're not. I don't think he's bad in that role. Actually, not to sound like I'm Mr. Oz, but I actually said this last year where it could be an option for us, because signing a left-sided centre back is always a tricky one, especially when you have Van Dijk in the team. But if we had someone in the squad that could do that job, then I feel like it could work well. And due to Robertson's stage of his career right now, it could be a long-term position for him. So look, I don't think it's a bad option. He on paper he'll be fifth choice, so why not currently right now? So that's what I've said. I believe that we'll sign one more defender. I would love for it to be two, and I'm sure everyone agrees. Two makes the perfect sense, right? It's the best case scenario that we sign two centre backs, but I don't think the club will go through, into that route and acquire two centre backs. Maybe one, which in my eyes should be Gay, but I think that's it, and I think then we'll maybe adjust that position next year. But at least if, for example, Joe Gomez is not available, Robertson is able to cover for that role because he's not, in my eyes, regarded as first choice left back. He'll be second choice, but he'll provide valued experience off that bench, playing centre back and left back. So it bodes well for us to have him in that option. So yeah, I'm on board. I really am. I know a lot of fans might not be. Um, remember it's not his primary position, so he can't be prime Daniel Agger all of a sudden just because he's been put in that position. So yeah, as long as he's doing a decent job, I feel like his experience will definitely prevail in that situation. So yeah, I think it's a good option to have. Just got a comment from Rod. Big up yourself. He says hi. Big up yourself. Thank you for tuning in. Hooks19 says I spend all my time on YouTube arguing with LSC fans who diss our players. Yeah, uh, I get your point. But yeah, as long as it's, my advice would always be as long as it's respectable and it's done in terms of if you based it on facts or your opinions or it's done in a constructive way, then it's all good. We're all entitled to our opinions, and there's nothing wrong with having a debate or discussion in that way. So yeah, as long as it's done, in a nice manner, it's all good. To be fair, um, oh, like I said, young Trey literally grabbed 2.0. What a bright future! I agree. I see the similarities, to be fair. So yeah, I am on board on that as well. AI says, I don't like other channel where they are tribal, blame, shout, angry at each other, and watch the game. That is important. Yeah, I feel like, of course, with certain fans, they are a little bit more passionate than others. Of course, as you can see, my persona, I'm quite chilled, I'm quite laid back. But if we're watching a competitive game, I would get animated in certain situations as well. But look, as long as things are done respectfully, that's my vibe. That's how I do things on a daily basis. That's my motto as well, I guess, just to be respectful of others. And yeah, continue that on to um, the channel and in terms of everyday situations as well. Ron has said, Vamos Liverpool. Saludos desde Chile. So I'm assuming you're from Chile, so big up yourself. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Chile. Appreciate that as always. AR said Rio and Neoni need to be in our senior squad. I think they are, but they're not high in terms of the pecking order, if that makes sense. I think they are. So in my eyes, I've got Rio once, if we sign a striker, a winger, and a centre back to complete the transfer window, I think Rio will be pretty much sixth choice, if I'm being honest with you, because let's say we sign Rodrigo, right? So it'll be Rodrigo, Gakpo, Bert, Szoboszlai, and Salah. And maybe Harvey and it stays. I don't know. I have a feeling he'll stay, but there's nothing to rule out that he will leave. So let's say if he does leave, then Rio ends up being number 6. But if Harvey Elliott stays, then number 7, which is not too bad in my opinion. And one of the reasons why I predicted him to be part of what a block there from Leone. Very well read there from the young player. But I predicted that in January, where Salah will be playing at AFCON. We'll need to have an extra attacker into our squad. So that would be Rio, in my opinion. So and Trenioni, I think he'll be around the team as well. Both players will definitely play a lot of cup games, and I think as the season goes on, you'll get to see them in the first team mix as well. But they need to be embedded slowly, slow transitions into the first team, rather than rushed or presented so early in the season because unfortunately that builds up too much pressure. But that's just my opinion regarding the two players there. Yeah, says Gakpo needs to improve this season. I'm not sure why Gakpo's getting so much sort of hate. He was one of our best attackers, scored a lot of goals for us last season. So I think if he continues that same pathway, then he'll have another good season. So I think the criticism is a little bit unjustified, but uh, I think Gakpo is one of those players. He's not very easy on the eye. Like Rio looks amazing, right, when he's running the ball. So maybe that's because we're seeing him a bit more firsthand. And with Gakpo, we're not seeing him play as much, or we're not seeing him play to that kind of level. Maybe that's the reason why we had that comparison. But in terms of numbers, Gakpo produced the numbers for us last season, so I think he'll be very important for us going forward. Um, Who's 19 says to that AR, Liverpool fan in Japan is a very positive and highly intelligent LFC channel. I'll definitely check him out. Uh, Host 19 says people can say a player is past it, but the slander is unacceptable. Yeah, I agree with that as well. AR says Japan people are nice, polite, and respectful. They are. They are, to be fair. Well clearance from Trey. Well clearance indeed. Very read that very well. Yeah, I agree with AR. The reading of the game is very good. Barry says hi, big up Barry. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in. Hussein said he's British Japanese, extremely high IQ. And AR says Iro is a street baller, technical, pace, quick, skillful, and wonder kid. Yeah, he's definitely our star boy right now. He's our wonder kid. So yeah, he's producing the goods right now. And long may it continue. Back to the game. We've got Simicast set to take the throw in for Liverpool. Simicast a long throw. Decent execution there, but cleared away by Bilbao. But Liverpool defending really well right now. Very compact, not um, not being exposed. They've kept the shape very well. Certain players aren't even traditional centre backs in Robbo and Nyoni. They looked decent together so far. So yeah, positive sign for Liverpool. Well, pull back pass there. Bendok chasing the ball towards the corner flag. A heavy touch there from Harvey Elliott. Let me know in the chat, guys. What do you think is the future for Harvey Elliott? Does he stay this summer, or do you think he will be sold in the end? Because I still feel like he's he's still got a part to play. I think I wouldn't mind him staying, but at the same time, I do understand if he wanted to leave, for more game time. But yeah, feel free to let me know in the chat what you would do, or what do you think will happen with Harvey Elliott this summer. Hawks 19 says Gakpo doesn't have a song that's officially criminal. He'll have one, I think, hopefully. Well, that's there's a few players that are leaving, so we've got to create some new songs for new players now. So yeah, hopefully Gakpo will get his one day as well. Ozzie says, can Harvey play left wing? No, he can't. Which is obviously crazy because he's left footed, but you think naturally he should be, comfortable on that left hand side, but it's not his role. And I think when he plays in those wide positions, well, because he doesn't have that sort of dynamic burst of speed, he's not able to get past players with complete ease. More of a ball to feet type player where he's got a good passing range and can move the ball around. So that's why I feel like that number 10 role, more central role, suits him more. Um, but whether Ansel sees him in terms of his long term vision, I'm not too sure. Last season would suggest no, but we'll see. Lovely passing from Rio. Good interchange passes there between him and Nunez. But oh, good clearance there. Good tackle from Simicast. He shoots. Guess the deflection should be a corner kick. McAllister set to take the corner kick. 40 minutes played. 2-0 to Liverpool. Can they make it 3-0 from this corner kick? Mendoza with a shot. Oh, not a bad effort. Keeper had to make that crucial save there. Not bad execution there from Mendoza at all. Lashed onto it. I thought it was going to go high and wide, but he kept it down. Yeah, good technique. And it swerved a little bit. Pretty much a comfortable height for the keeper, but still, he had to produce that save there. Cleanly hit. Good effort on goal there from the Scottish winger. Yeah, Ozwrld says, imagine if he scored that. Yeah, we'll start getting Gerard comparisons or something of that nature. But no, he's definitely a talented player. Could see that he's producing these kind of moments. Oh, good turn there. He shoots. And he scores. What a finish there from Ben Doak. Could he be a future player for us? Maybe we should hold the brakes and not sell him this summer because he gives us that option from the right wing. Who knows? Who knows? If he does end up staying, I wouldn't be against it, but I feel like I see him being sold this summer. But in terms of what he's just produced now, very direct, very smart, very intelligent in terms of that maneuver there because he's attacking the fullback. It's confused him, finds him in a square position. Yeah, you'd have to say very, very poor goalkeeping from the Bilbao goalkeeper because the ball wasn't really going on target. It was being fizzed across goal, but because of his save, he's pretty much palmed it behind him and into the corner. So yeah. But nonetheless, Ben Doak had to do his thing there and got his reward, I guess. So 3-0 to the Reds. Hooks 19 says premonition and Red Burst is nice from Ben. Yeah, good goal from there. And yeah, the come out predetermining what was going to happen there, wasn't he? I said, imagine if he scored it and boom, he scores it 10 seconds later. So yeah, I call myself Mystic Oz. I've got to say Mystic Oz is in the chat as well into the Oz and comeback there. So yeah, both of us making predictions right now. Trenioni. Jones seems to be all right now. He was, I think he hurt himself very briefly, but seems to be playing fine right now. Lorenga with the ball. Holds it up really well. Wanting a free kick there, but ref says play on. McAllister lose the ball. Blocked in the end. Woodman claims that ball. Hooks down to the superstitions are real. Yeah, they can be. They can be. Just got a comment here from AR who says we need centre back. Do you think Rob will play a makeshift centre back or left back position? I think he's going to be utilising both roles. I think on paper he'll be regarded as our fifth choice centre back, but with Joe Gomez out right now, he's pretty much been promoted to being fourth choice on paper, I guess. So actually, no, on paper he's actually third choice because Joe Gomez was fourth choice. So I told you not Sangay. Yeah, he would be regarded as a current centre back option. But I think the beauty of Robertson is that because of his experience, he's able to play left back and centre back, and it will be a viable option for us on the bench during games as well as the course of the season as well. So for me, it's a good player to have in the squad. Gives us versatility. It gives us a couple of options when we needed. So yeah, I think it's very smart from Liverpool to keep him on, and then also experimenting in the centre back role, which I feel like he's done a decent job. I feel like he can definitely play this role in the future. Ozwrld has a very nice first half from the young guns. Rio, Trey, Bedok. Yeah, they're definitely been the standout players for me. And that is the halftime whistle. Liverpool 3, Athletic Bilbao, or should I say Athletic Club Bilbao, nil. Positive start, goals coming from Rio and then Darwin Nunes, and then we've just got a goal from Ben Doak. So positive start from the young guns. So what we'll do now is we'll take a short break, and once we return, we can watch the remainder of the second half, and then also have another short break, and we'll watch the second match later on this evening as well. So sit back, um, and yeah, grab yourself a snack or whatnot, and I'll see you guys very, very shortly. Hello everyone, welcome back to the second half of Liverpool versus Bilbao. Excuse me. Looks like we've made a change in the goalkeeping position. So Woodman has been replaced by Pexi. So let's see how the young Hungarian goalkeeper performs today. But I expect us to make some more changes as the game goes on. We'll get to see the likes of Jaden Dans, Kumas, Kone Doherty as well. Expect to see them involved at some point of the game. Just gonna go through some of the comments. Dad says, "What would be your 11 for next match?" So that's against Crystal Palace. I'd go for Allison in goal. I'd go for Kirkes, Frimpong, Van Dijk, Konate, and then I'd go for Sobozlai. I'd go for Gravenberg, which might be an unpopular opinion, but that's the two I'd go for. And I'd go for Verts, and then Gakpo on the left, Salah on the right, and Darwin Nunes up top. So that would be my team going into the next fixture, which is against Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. Bilbao with the free kick, pretty much hit directly at the goalkeeper. Oh, she has to hit the wall, and the goalkeeper can pretty much caught the ball there. Looking back at it, it's actually poor effort, but yeah, not a great set piece there from Bilbao. On the correct says Pexi in, Freddie Woodman out. That is correct. That is the only substitution that we've made in the half time. Ben Dog, unfortunately, offside there. Oh, Daz was referring to the 8 p.m. kick. I'm going far ahead now. Let's have a look in terms of who's not played so far. So Allison in goal. Actually, wait. I go for Mama Dashvili in goal. Mama Dashvili in goal, and then Kerkez on the left, Ping Pong on the right. I believe someone mentioned in the chat earlier on that Bradley's not available, so we won't mention him. Um, and Van Dijk is not available, is he? So yeah, that's correct. I wasn't correct. Ali's still in Brazil. That's right. He has some personal issues that that's why he's not part of the squad. So yeah, Mama Dashvili in goal, Kerkez on the left, Ping Pong on the right. Who's our centre back options? Endo and Konate. That's my centre back pairing there. And then I'll go for Gravenberg, Szoboszlai, Verts in your number 10, and then you go for Gakpo, and then you go for Salah, and then Ekitike up top. So that's my 11 for the 8 p.m. kickoff. So yeah, let's see if that is true. But yeah, that's my lineup for the game later on today. Good tackle there from Robbo. I feel like that centre back position suits Robbo very well because you know when he's playing left back, he has to run the hard yards, go up and down the pitch, up and down the pitch. But for the centre back position, he's able to reserve his energy a bit more. And when he needs to use his burst of speed, he's able to do that. So for me, centre back position could be a long-term role for Robertson for club and probably for country as well at some point. Jones on the ball to Simicas. Hooks. 19 said, "Where's Mecca? He's my hero." He's currently playing right now, so I don't expect him to play in the second match. So that's why I've not presented him in the lineup for the 8 p.m. match today. So yeah, he's currently playing right now. I don't expect him to play two matches today. It'll be one, and that will be it. So yeah, Mecca not in the lineup for the 8 p.m. Match, in my opinion. But in terms of the Community Shield, yeah, I did actually say Sabozan and Grandma, didn't I? Just because I really enjoyed the dynamic the other day, so I thought maybe we continue that. But can't really out. You could put Verts in the left, Sabozan in the 10, and then you've got Mac and Grandberg. So a good headache for the coach, to say the least. So look at that save. Great save from Pecci. Went very aggressive off his line and held his position, held his sort of position, made himself look big, and does really well to make that block in the end. Bent out, bit of a heavy touch, but has the space to get onto the end of it. Tries to lay off for Stevenson. Stevenson looking very leggy there, unable to catch up there. Hooks said, I meant in your lineups. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. So the original question was the lineup for the Community Shield match, and I actually said Szoboszlai and Gravenberg in my double pivot. But then Daz asked me for today's formation, today's lineup as well for the 8 p.m. kickoff, and same double pivot, Szoboszlai and Gravenberg, because McAllister's actually playing right now. So I don't think it'll be worth risking McAllister, to play in both games. That would make no sense whatsoever. He's just come back from a small injury as well, so this game is a good game for him to regain that match fitness, and then he'll be ready for selection for the Sunday fixture against Crystal Palace. So yeah, I'll basically mention two lineups there, but yeah, McAllister not part of the 8 p.m. lineup or the Community Shield, in my opinion. Oh, nice pass there from Harvey Elliott to Rio. Rio gets past the right back there, nutmegs him, but unfortunately the centre back covered him. Harvey Elliott does well there to get away from the player. Ozan Kabasi looks like Roberts injured himself with that tackle. Yeah, he was limping earlier on. He seems okay now. So hopefully it was just a slight knock, but he's able to continue and shouldn't have any sort of layoff after this game. Robertson to Jones, good pass there. Trenioni on the ball to Doak. Good turn from Jones. Through the ball to Van Doak. Not the best of executions, to be honest with you. Elliot driving the ball. Rio to McAllister. Can he shoot? Tries to think it forward towards Nunes, but not in the right space. Good tackle from McAllister. Oh, further from John's free kick to Bilbao. Liverpool going to make some further changes. You've got Trey Neone possibly coming off. Well, let's see. So McAllister's is being taken off now. And he's replacing Wellity, Lucky, Omorio. And you've got Ben Dog being replaced by Jaden Dans. I was going to come back confirming the subs. Jaden Dans and Wellity Lucky in. Mac and Ben Dog out. That is correct. So I think Dans will play. Don't think he'll play on the right hand side, but let's see how the setup is. And then you've got Naka being replaced by Lucky, sorry. So Lucky will be playing centre back. That's his predominant position. So you've got Trey Neone, I think, playing the more double pivot midfield role. AR says Dan going on loan or bench this season. I think he'll probably go on loan. I think it will make perfect sense for him to play first team football because game time will be limited with the current squad. So a loan move, I think, would be the best decision for Dan. Javier that shoots. Great finish there. Good play there from Nunes to hold off the ball, lay it off to Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott controls it, smashes it centrally into the goal by the goalkeeper. Unable to make that block, and in the end, Harvey Elliott gets onto the score sheet. 4-0 to Liverpool. Nice build-up play, good finish there from our number 19. Good goal from Liverpool in the end. Hooks 19 says Jaden Dan's mini Ian Rush knows where the goal is. That's huge praise there. I wouldn't put him in that category personally. I guess stylistically, yeah, in terms of build and all that stuff, but no, I wouldn't. I think that's a bit too strong, but that's just my opinion. Um, Other comment says well worked goal, tightly passing that. Yeah, 100%, very good goal. Just looking at the replay right now, good range of passing there, and a neat pass from Nunes to Harvey Elliott, and Harvey Elliott controls it, instinctively shoots it on target, and gets his goal in the end. So 4-0 to Liverpool, and it hasn't even been an hour yet. Robertson on the ball. I told you Ozzie down his thing, bro. Let's see. Says what can score, can assist, yeah. But this is what I was saying to you earlier on. This is the reason why we're going to raise his profile to try and get 60 M's. Right now the price is 50. By showcasing the highlight reel of today's game, we'll say, look, Darwin Nunes is raring to go. He can score goals, he can assist. So that should add a few more M's to our transfer valuation then. So yeah, that's me thinking from a selling point of view. But of course, yeah, some fans will have definitely be in agreement, be like, yeah, we got to keep him for another season. So let's see. Let's see what happens. But because I think Isak's coming through the door, Darwin will definitely have to end up leaving. But as long as we get a good fee for him, I'm all on board. Other courses, Marky Valley went from 60 to 70 million, 100%. You know, if he keeps doing good stuff here, we're gonna keep racking up those numbers. So yeah, hopefully he continues to showcase his talent there. And yeah, we're moving up from 50 to 70 already today. So yeah, great start for Liverpool. You know, we're auctioning our player right now, so let's hope we get the best valuation for him in the end. Oi, way with effort there for Barunga. I am over the bar. 61 minutes played. Liverpool 4. Athletico Club Bilbao nil. Oh, Nunes trying to lay off to Rio. Blocked by the right back. Bilbao on the attack. Good block there from Simicas on Serrano. Corner kick for Bilbao. Headed away by Dance. Good piece of defending from the striker there. Mm. Jones on the ball to Dance. Good touch. Tans, good turn of speed there. Oh, I was gonna say nice free ball, but blocked there in the end by the right back. Right back's been everywhere today. Number 2 for Bilbao. Like he shoots. Oh, dragged the white. Best chance there for Bilbao. Just gonna go through some of the comments. Hooks 19 says, I got a book autographed by Rushy when I was in primary school. Everyone wanted to play like him in school. Oh, I would not doubt that. You know, he was definitely the man at the time. And he was probably the best example for young players at the time to, play like him, not just a goal scorer, but in terms of the work ethic and the way he pressed as well. Yeah, definitely a role model for a lot of young players growing up. So yeah, not surprised to hear that at all. And 1986 it was, so yeah, it's a long, long time ago. So yeah, he was definitely the star at the time. And yeah, it makes sense, that all the kids wanted to be like him on the playground. So yeah, I hear that. Justin Jacko says, "Why can't I watch the match on the zone?" I don't think it's televised on the zone today in terms of from an international point of view. The game can be viewed on LFC TV. Um, if you've got an LFC membership, you should be able to watch the game live right now. And if you haven't signed up to, apparently, I think you can get a trial and watch all of the preseason games. So you can quickly just create a trial account now and you can watch the game. But if you have NFC TV, that is the place to watch the game, as confirmed by AR in the chat as well. Robert Lombo up top. Ellie on the ball. Elliot, Simicast, Jones playing in triangles right now. Simicast passing it back towards Robertson. Good turn there from Jane Dance. Finds Stevenson on the right hand side. Oh, heavy first touch from Darwin, but manages to find Jones in the end. Jones, a good piece of skill. Unable to regain possession. Rio Gamoa has departed from the pitch and has been replaced by Trent Colney-Doherty, another exciting player coming through the ranks. Just gonna go through the comments. AR says, I'm buzzing for the season. I hope we win silverware. I believe we will. I'm confident that we will win silverware this season. And AR says, FSG ticking all the boxes. They are. Gotta give them credit when it's due. They have definitely ticked all the boxes and they've shown a lot more ambition than previous seasons. So, yeah, very positive from our owners today. Trey Leone is coming off and it's being replaced by Pilling. Other quest is Trent 2.0 coming on. Trent Kone Doherty. Looking forward to seeing how he performs today. I thought he was a bit more further up on the pitch as more of a right winger, but if he can play right back, I'm very intrigued to see how he does. James Dan's chasing the ball right now. Darwin can shoot. No, he can't. He can't get onto the ball. Trent Doherty. Oh, good turn of speed there. Stevenson hasn't been heavily involved today. So not seeing a great account of him, but seems to be a solid player. Trent Doherty looks a decent player, doesn't he? Very quick. I remember him playing last preseason as well and showed how quick he was on the ball. But I'm intrigued to see how he's performing this season. Where has he developed? Has he improved in certain aspects of his game? But yeah, in terms of pace, yeah, he's got an abundance of pace, hasn't he? Really quick on that burst of speed. And yeah, very electric on the ball. If he can be converted into a right back, then it could be a great option for that role, as in a backup for Frimpong, or in the future, he could be utilized in cup games on that right hand side as well. So yeah, good option to have. I think he'll be in the club. I don't think he'll be loaned out. I think he'll continue his trade for the under 23s, and he'll be another option for our cup matches alongside Rio and Gamoa and Trenioni. I think that's how highly regarded he is at the club. So I expect him to be involved at in the cup games. Definitely, I don't know if he'll break through the first team like Rio, because I feel like he's still got a lot to kind of build on, but definitely has the raw ability. He's through on goal. He seems to be onside. Oh no, he's not. He's not. The keeper a bit shaky on the crosses, isn't he? Definitely goes out of his line a bit too ahead when players are literally down that byline. So that's something players need to have an eye on, because once they're getting closer, they can literally just pass it into the goal. But yeah, just want to look out for the next time someone makes that kind of run again. Spirit of LSC fans says, Ozzy, can you explain why you're so intelligent and knowledgeable? Just a lot of me watching a lot of football over the years. I've been watching football for a very long time. So yeah, it's just me having a love for the game. I used to play a lot as well when I was younger, so that helps in terms of understanding the game from a tactical point of view. But also just watching a lot of football and getting an understanding from that. So yeah, it just comes from watching the games and delving into that sort of part of the game. So yeah. Hookstein said, "Don't let me down, dance. You've already put him on a high pedestal, so yeah, maybe just like don't do the next Ian Rush comparison because yeah, that's a lot of pressure on the kid. But I do feel like he's got a future at the club. He's very talented. I feel like Lomi would be such a great step for him in his career, especially in the championship. I think that would be the perfect league for him, where he'll play real men's football. He'll play in a league where you've got to be physical, you've got to be on top of your game. I think he can learn his trade in that league next season. So hopefully, he can get that move at some point. He did join Sunderland in January, but unfortunately got injured and wasn't able to get that many games. So yeah, let's see what the future holds for Jane Dans. Hooks and said goalkeeping standards have gone backwards over the years. Especially, I think we've been blessed because we've had, the likes of Kelleher, Allison in the ranks, and now we've got Mamadashvili who looks good as well. So yeah, we've been very fortunate in regards to that. But yeah, maybe we just know how to recruit goalkeepers, whereas teams like United sign awful goalkeepers like Onana and people like that. Oh yeah, what an awful shot there. I'm not sure, even sure who that guy is, but what an awful shot from the Bilbao player there. One to forget, 100%. I don't think he'll be wanting to see that replay anytime soon. Like I said, man sent that ball all the way back to Bilbao. It's still flying. So yeah, it'll probably arrive there very, very shortly. You're you're not wrong, to be fair. That was a hoof, to say the least. Hussein said, look at the few goals he scored, total natural. Yeah. In terms of is that referring to Jalen Dance? Yeah, he's a natural goal scorer. Don't get me wrong. I was excited about when he broke into our team when we had Jurgen Klopp because he had a great performance against Arsenal. I feel like we thrashed them. Was it 6-7 nil? And like he scored, I remember him scoring a free kick in that game. I thought, oh, this kid's special. Um, but yeah, it's a big step up from that youth level to playing for a team like Liverpool in the Premier League. Premier League is one thing, but Liverpool in the Premier League, that's another ball game altogether. Um, so yeah, I think just gotta be careful to let him learn his trade because I don't think the talent is in question. I think it's more so making sure he's learning his trade, but also keeping fit. If he's always injured, then he's not going to progress as a footballer. So he needs to try and stay fit now. But look, no, he's got a good touch, look, even right there. Good layoff there to Simicast. Very talented, very highly regarded at the club, and rightly so, in my opinion. Uh, yeah, just read that comment there. Ozan Kawat says, I swear he cleared the entire clock stand, or was it he did? I feel like some of them got a bit worried that it's going to hit one of their faces because that was high. So, honestly, what an awful shot that was. Don't know what he was thinking, honestly. And it wasn't even that far. It's just outside the box, and the technique was all wrong, absolutely all wrong. So yeah, one to forget. He doesn't want to be reminded of that effort. That's for sure. Decent ball there. Unfortunately, no one able to capitalize. 75 minutes played. Liverpool 4, Atletico Madrid. Madrid, Atletico Bilbao, nil. Oh, Bilbao through on goal. good cross there, headed up. Hey, that was a poor header from Stevenson there. One to forget, the guy who ballooned it, the ball ended up coming back to his way, and he's ended up finding a very easy tap in there. Poor clearance there from Stevenson. Bit of a shame because I wanted to see us, hold a clean sheet there, but wasn't to be, unfortunately. Literally no danger whatsoever. That header was awful. Header it away from danger. That's what you taught, when you're playing at school level. And for you to be a defender, not to know how to head the ball is a slight concern for me. So yeah, poor defending there from Stevenson. And the header, not a bad finish there from the Bilbao player. As you said, nice assist there from Stevenson, not gonna lie, yeah. If he was wearing a Bilbao shirt, kind of matched what Rio did earlier on for Darwin Nunes, but yeah, poor defending from the defender there. Hooks 19 says Liverpool LFC normally let the off score first. Yeah, we're a different team now. We don't like no one scoring. So when we let one in, for me it hurts a little bit. Like why we let that happen. So but it's preseason. I'm not gonna go crazy over it. But yeah, it's always nice to keep clean sheets. But yeah, the young defender will learn from that mistake there. Hey, one of the best appearances there from Pexi. That's a good touch there. Wrong goal again, but good save on the keeper, even though it wouldn't have counted as he was offside. Liverpool are about to make a substitution. Darwin Núñez is coming off. Gets a huge round of applause. Could this be the final round of applause for Darwin Núñez before he departs from the club? Who knows? I've seen a lot of people standing up, so it could be the case. Luis Kumas comes on to replace the Uruguayan attacker. Graham Rogers says, I forgot about this game. Not to worry. It's a bit earlier than usual, isn't it? But we've got two games today. So this is the first game, but we have a second game with both teams, in terms of Liverpool playing Bilbao. So make sure to tune in later on. We'll be doing a watch along for that game at 8 p.m. UK time. So in about just over an hour or so, we'll be watching that game as well. And it should be a stronger lineup as well. So if you missed it, make sure to catch up the goals for this one, and then you'll be in line to watch the second game today as well. Oh, that comment says, Ra thought Kumas left the club. I thought that as well, but then I remember him playing the other day for us. I was thinking, yeah, he's a bit, he looks, from one part of that game, I thought he was Bastic, because he kind of had like similar wavy hair. and they're both wearing, their socks are quite low, so I thought it might have been him, but no, that's not the case. But yeah, he's still around. He's come returned from loan. I believe he was at Stoke City last season. So yeah, um, let's see how he does. I think another loan move will definitely be on the cards for him as well. He's not going to get anywhere near the first team. So yeah, if anyone is going to break through the ranks, it's going to be Ruben Gamora. I don't think it'll be anyone else for that left wing position. Hooks 19 says, did Darwin look like he was saying goodbye? A little bit, not. Didn't feel like it was a proper goodbye, but maybe I'm reading to it a bit more. But it felt like it kind of did. It felt like he was in it where he was a bit unsure. Like it could be, it can't be. So that's why he had his hands like that. Because he's not any closer. It's just there's still preliminary talks happening between clubs. So he could be involved for the Palace game. Who knows? We'll get an update, I guess, later on this week. But I think it was a bit more of a hesitant, round of applause to the crowd, thinking maybe it could be his last appearance. So let's see. Let's see if it is or not. Uh, Greenwood says there are 2 games. Why? I think it's just for building our fitness, getting ready for uh, the season coming up. We did that last year where we played 2 games in one fixture, I remember. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's quite smart where you're able to get 2 games. Hold on a second. Kumas with a shot. Good save there in the end from the keeper. Because we're not going to play the same lineup. It's going to be 2 different teams. So that way everyone gets the game time they need and they will be in good shape for our opening game, I guess, to an extent, which is against Crystal Palace this Sunday in the Community Shield. And then next week, that's when, it gets real competitive as we face Bournemouth in our opening game of the Premier League season. So, yeah, lots to look forward to. And yeah, back to normal scheduling from next week onwards in terms of doing match previews and match reactions, So, yeah, look out for that from next week onwards. Bilbao pretty much holding on to the ball right now with their string of possession. Nice through ball. Oh, but he's offside. Good finish there from the player. What's his name? He goes by the name of Johanico, number 41. Good finish. Very well executed. But unfortunately, find himself in an offside position. Jones is being taken off and is being replaced by Michael Laffy. Another young player getting his opportunity to shine in pre-season. For whoever's in the crowd today is definitely getting their money's worth watching 2 games in one evening. So yeah, if they do this again, I might have to go there next season and yeah, watch 2 games in one day. Robertson seems to be fine. Doesn't look like he's suffered any injury at all. Lucky to Stevenson. Semikas to Pexi. Pechi. Achieve the clearance. Tony Doherty was ready to set off there, but unfortunately got blocked in the end. Other customers just reply something to you on Twitter, Ozzy. Let me have a look. That is a great picture. I like that. Don't know if you guys can see on the screen. Got Rio. There you go, Rio. Going past that player there. So yeah, what a picture that is. Got a few more minutes left until that'll be in stoppage time until the end of the game, I think. Other come back saying ball glued to his boots. Yeah, that's the uniqueness of his dribbling, where it looks like it's just everything just sticks to him, you know? Really, really good technically. Jans, good turn. Trent Doherty, can he get it? Decent effort with the outside boot, but blocked in the end. Also with the clearance. Good header there from Laffy, I think that was. Bilbao on the ball. Dan's intercepts. Good pressing there from Pilling there. Then come out saying second 11 is out. Federico is on the bench. Interesting. Hopefully he gets some game time, but then again, he might not. If he's on the verge of leaving the club, I don't think the club will risk him to play or participate in this game. So no, I think he's just there to make up the numbers, but he might not play, in my opinion. So we'll see, as we will be doing a live watch along of that game later on today. But that is it today in terms of the first match between Liverpool versus Athletic Club Bilbao. The game ends 4-1 to Liverpool. Great performance from Rio, scoring a goal, providing an assist for Darwin Núñez. So yeah, not a bad afternoon for the young kids. So great performance today from Liverpool, where we had Rio opening the scoreline for the Reds. and then we had Darwin Nunes scoring as well. And then it's been labeled as an own goal, but I'm giving that to Ben Doak. That's the third goal in my eyes. And then Harvey gets the fourth to complete the score. So that is it for today, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We will be back in just over an hour. I'll be live from 5 to 8. And yeah, we'll watch the second match between Liverpool and Bilbao. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys very, very shortly. Goodbye.